Do you spend hours in your head thinking about something that happened, could have happened, or might happen? Do you ask others what to do so you don't make a mistake? Welcome to the Playing It Safe podcast. I am Dr. Z, your host. I am a clinical psychologist, an author, and a person that is super passionate about sharing with you science-based skills to overcome any type of fear-based struggles. Who doesn't experience fear? Who doesn't play it safe? In this show, we will discuss how fear-based reactions happen in day-to-day life, how playing it safe behaviors look like, sound like, and feel like, how you can put into action solid tips from behavioral science to get unstuck from worries, fears, obsessions, and anxieties, and how you can start doing what works, what matters, and what you care about. Behavioral science doesn't have to be boring. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. When COVID-19 began impacting all of us, and many states and countries were locked down for quarantine, every single project I was participating in got delayed. Beyond my control, beyond my wishes, wants, and desires. It was frustrating. It was hard. As the quarantine kept getting extended, our physical space restricted, connections with others limited, and among many things I felt unsettled about, I couldn't stop feeling upset about the status of those projects. When unpacking my reactions, I realized that I was upset about not being able to disseminate resources for handling fear-based reactions at the time in which they were needed, and as I was doing before quarantine. After wrestling for days with this realization, an idea came up. It was time to bring to life a podcast. When thinking about a podcast, I felt invigorated, excited, scared, and overall committed to take action in the midst of this pandemic. Creating a podcast was another way to materialize my passion for disseminating skills for anyone who wants to get unstuck from worries, fears, anxieties, and obsessions. The same passion in a different format. So here we are. Playing it safe emerged from feeling stuck due to the pandemic, hanging in there in an unpredictable time, and at a time in which talking about fear and all types of fear-related reactions is more present than ever. I started working on this project, learned what needed to be done to create a podcast, researched the tools that I needed, asked people about the how-tos, and little by little, it was time to record a trailer. On a Friday afternoon, after making a cup of tea, I sat down, pulled my notes, grabbed the microphone, put the headphones on, and I even made sure my kitty was distracted so his bells didn't make extra noise. I started recording the trailer. I thought I was prepared for it and had all the resources to make it happen. Here is what I didn't plan for. The hours and hours I spent restarting sentences, saying the same script over and over, adjusting my body in front of the microphone back and forth. At the end of the afternoon, I ended up with 9 different versions of the trailer, but felt unhappy with all of them. Welcome to perfectionistic behaviors. When trying to do things right and perfect, we focus on a single outcome. The perfect outcome, the right outcome. We tell ourselves we need 1 extra minute to do things right. We don't stop working on a project until it's done perfectly, even though we're feeling super tired. We get consumed with worries about what else we need to do, so our projects are a true representation of who we are and according to our standards. And the longer time we do have, the more time we spend in getting that particular outcome. Not all areas of my life have that perfect standard. Not all the things I participate in or I do involve meticulousness, nitpickiness, and hair splitting. What about you? Are there areas in your life in which you are shooting for doing things right and perfect? Do you have projects where you tell yourself that there is only one way of getting them done and you know that way? Are you spending hours and hours getting things done to the point that you get trapped in your mind and don't take action? Before your mind jumps into anticipating what I may say, let me tell you right away that I am not here to tell you today that you should stop all those behaviors. Why should you? If quite likely at some point, all those actions may have been appreciated by others and even encouraged. I know for me, getting things right has been helpful at times in my life. In this episode, I want to invite you to step back and watch what's really driving those actions. What's really behind every time you strive for excellence on what you do. If we don't check what we are doing, why we are doing it, and how we are doing it, we may get lost because we ended up doing everything in automatic pilot mode. So here are a few questions to ask yourself. How does it feel if you don't do things right and perfect? What happens if you let go of those expectations about doing things right and perfect all the time and in everything you do? What happens if you finish a project and it doesn't feel right? What happens if you don't spend any extra minute you have in creating the perfect project or the perfect outcome? What happens if you deliver projects that are just good enough? When answering those questions, you may notice a theme or themes emerging. It may be a feeling, it may be a thought, it may be a sensation, or a combination of all of them. Whatever you discover after answering those questions, there is no need to judge yourself. Being aware of what drives all those doing things right and perfect behaviors is about noticing them for what they are as the first step to design the life you want to live and choosing effectively how to behave. Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, I will very much appreciate it if you will subscribe and share this podcast with your friends. And if you're feeling extra generous, I welcome a review on Apple Podcasts. Show notes of this episode are in the website playingitsafe.zone. Make sure to subscribe to my newsletter so you can receive more tips to stop all types of unworkable playing it safe actions. See you soon!